D, wait for it, light bulb.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I watched Superman and Lois, episode 10, and I have to say, this episode was pretty good. There's a couple of things that I was like iffy about or whatnot, but they weren't even like kind of deal breakers because this show is awesome. I really like the show a lot. I think it's really good. I like the writing on it. I like the acting. I like the action sequences and everything. I think it's really, really good. And I think the CW has hit the mark with this one, unlike their other shows. The other shows are just not doing it for me anymore. So but this show is definitely my favorite CW show, and then followed by Stargirl, because that's really good. And I just watched the trailer for the second season, and you can check that out up here and everything. But this episode, we finally find out who Morgan Edge really is, as far as his Kryptonian name. I thought he would be there's a Kryptonian shoot, and I forgot what it was, and I should have looked it up before. But they introduced Kal-El's brother in the New 52. His name is like Xanax or something like that. I don't know. And he's like this, like he was like, I remember him shirtless and like had long black flowing hair. Anyways, but I thought maybe that would be him. Well, somebody suggested it in the comment section of my last one and everything. And so I was like, oh no, I totally forgot about that guy. And it could totally be him. And that could be like their first iteration, live iteration of this character, but it wasn't. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, no, this show's really good. I really like it. And all those other CWs can suck it. CW shows can suck it because they're no good. So why don't we go ahead and break down this episode and talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. Sorry, I have something in my eye. All right, so it starts off where we left off last time. You know, they're in the desert or whatnot, and Superman is talking to tor-ro. Tor-ro. Anyways, or tor-ro. It's tor-ro, and he is Kal-El's brother. And he explains that on Krypton, what they did was their mother, Lara, she was matched with his father, Zeta-ro. I think that's his name, Zeta-ro. It doesn't matter. And then they created him in that little, if you watch the show Krypton and on Superman, they create babies not the old-fashioned way, which is the fun way, but they do it through little test tubes, and then they go into the thing with the codex and everything and all that stuff. But so she had this baby, but not with Zeta-ro. And she didn't want to be with him because then she'll explain later on, but she didn't love him, and she met Jor-El and fell in love, and then she had Kal-El naturally. So then he's explaining all this, and he explained how he came to Earth first. He was sent here by Zeta-ro, and when he got here, this guy shoots at him, and then he kills both these two people. And Superman's like, he's like, that you're lying kind of thing. And he's all like, join me. And he's like, no. And then they get into this little scuffle where he just flies him through everything. And he's like, if you don't join me, I'm going to destroy you kind of thing. And then he flies off and everything. And I'm all like, yeah. Everybody said that to Superman, and Superman's kicked their booties. So then Lana, I forget their last name now. I keep going to call her Lana Lang, but it doesn't even matter. Who freaking cares? Somebody told me in the my video, my last one, and I don't care. Like, okay. So Lana's sitting here, and Sarah's all like, oh, you're defending him. You're gonna let him stay and everything, even though he got drunk. And she's like, he didn't get drunk. I know he didn't get drunk. Oh, sorry, it's early. Something went wrong, and she's like, you're always defending him. And she's all like, I don't need a teenage girl telling me how to live my life, which is so true. I mean, teenagers, they just think they know everything. I know we were all like that when we were teenagers, but they just think they know everything. And it's like, you don't know anything. Okay, life is hard. You think you got it hard. Wait until you enter the real world, sweetie. So she's like, fine, I'm leaving. And she's like, I'll be at, whatever house and everything. So she leaves. So then Lana is like, gets a call from Lois, and Lois is like, you need to call me back. And then she tells her dad, she's like, I can't find her. And he's like, well, send somebody over her house. Superman comes back, and he's freaking out because he's like, I have a brother. and he's they're talking about it and stuff, and just how they're transferring minds. They tell the boys exactly what's going on. And then he goes back to the Fortress of Solitude to talk to his dad. He's all like, what's going on? And he's all like, your mom developed this science, and she was engaged and everything to Zeta Rho, but she had a son. So what it was is she created this little thing. I can't remember what it's called, this little pod. And she took the consciousnesses out of, not out of the people, but copied them into this little pod. It kind of, and he says kind of like what's going on here with the Fortress of Solitude. And he's all like, how do I stop it? And he's like, I don't know. This was your mother's technology. She created this. She's the only one that knew. And Zeta Rho, took it from her, because he was mad and everything. So then back at the house, these two are talking, and he texts Sarah, and he's all like, oh, she's got to be so mad at me and everything. And he's all like, listen, I saw our mom get killed on that other Earth, which is Earth TUD 22. So he's like, I saw our dad kill our mom on this second Earth. And what if he does join these people and everything? And she's all like, that's not going to happen, because on that Earth, he didn't have us. We're his family. That's why then. And she, like, roughly, she says, that's why they joined. That's why he joined them on that other Earth, because he didn't have Lois, and he didn't have Jonathan and Jordan. So that's why they're going to get through this. So then back, Alana and Eric are talking. Sorry, I'm taking my sweet time with this. So they're talking and everything. She's like, I want to know what happened. You need to go point by point exactly what happens. And he's like, you lied to me. So I went back to his office and everything, and he offered me a deal. And then while they're talking, and she's all like, and he went through, he's like, I went through this process. She's like, where did you go through the process at? And he's like, I don't remember. And while they're talking, they get a little knock at the door. And that's when he flips his switch. You know what I'm saying? And Lois shows up, and she's like, hey, I just wanted to come and see how you were doing. He's like, and check on me. And then he zooms over and he grabs them both by the neck, and then he zooms them into the thing. And then he's like, you're so weak and everything. And she starts punching him, and she's got kryptonite in her hands. She's like, not all of us. And so the DOD jumps in. They arrest him, and they take him into custody. Then Lana's all like, I am like so crazy right now. I don't understand what's going on. I did this. Sorry, I just needed a little libation. So she's all like, I did this. I recruited those people for that program. I want to help. I want to save my husband. I want to save this town. I'm a Smallvilleonian. I don't know what they're called. Too, and everything. Yada, this, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, So Lois is like, well, you need to find some evidence of where this is taking place. Where could it be? So then Lana pulls out a file of a doctor or like a student from MIT. And she's all like, this guy right here, I didn't recruit him. So then they use that to, to figure out where they use that to try to find out where it is. So the DOD sets up shop, and here he is. Well, before that, they go to this guy, and they're this Kryptonian now. It's no longer Eric, and they're like, where is this guy? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you anything. And he's like, all right, well, I tried to play nice. Turn on the Krypton rays or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kill all of you, kind of thing. And then Sarah and the boys are sitting in the diner, and she's all like, that what is going on here? And she's all like, my mom is, a piece of crap for defending my dad. And he's like, give your mom some slack. And he's like, listen, this is what happened. Your dad is getting taken over by a Kryptonian, an alien or whatnot. She, feels bad because she kind of, knew what was going on, but she didn't know what was going on. Give her some slack. That's not your dad anymore. Our grandpa is a part of it and everything, yada, yada, yada. So the back of the house, Lana's beating herself up. These two are talking. And she's all like, Morgan Edge isn't, she's like something like he's not just sitting by or whatnot. He's doing something. And I can't remember what they said during here. Sorry. They said something probably not that important. Anyways, so they find out where they are. He goes here, and they find the little doohickey to transfer them and everything. He's all like, you need to be what is going on here? And he's like, I barely understand this technology. And he's like, you need to reverse it. And he's like, I don't know how to reverse it. And he's like, you need to talk to the person that created it. And Kal-El is all like, my mother and everything. So we go back to Smallville, and Lois looks great here. I love this look for her with the jeans and the jacket and the sunglasses, the aviators. She looks great. So they go there, and Lana's like, "Oh my God, is that Superman?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." Anyways, so they're sitting there, and they're talking about how they go through the process or whatever, and he's all like, again, he doesn't know how it works, but they need to talk to Lara. So they need to transfer. They're talking about how they need to transfer the consciousness of Lara into a Smallville person, and Lana volunteers. She's like, I'll do it. And they're like, are you sure? And she's like, let me talk to her for a second. She's like, you don't have to do this. And she's like, no, I want to do this. These are my people. This is my home. If I can do this to save them, I will do it. And she's like, you have to think about your daughters. And she's like, I am thinking about my daughters. If I don't stop this, there won't be anything for them. So I need to do this for them. And also for myself and my husband, because I need to, we need to stop this kind of thing, which I thought was great. I don't remember the name of this actress. Well, both these actresses, I like them a lot. I like everybody on the show acting wise. Some of the characters kind of get on my nerves, but acting wise, everybody does a good job. And these two do a really good job in this scene. I really liked this scene a lot. So then we got this soldier guy, and he's like, you're not coming in. And they're like, listen, my grandpa runs this place. He's like, you've said that before. I don't care. And they're like, that's her dad in there. And he's like, I don't care. You don't have authorization. Why do people always do this in movies and TV? I wonder if they do this in real life. Like, do you know who my father is and everything? And you're all like, no, and I don't care. So grandpa shows up, Grandpa General Lane, and he's all like, what are you doing? I'm trying to put out fires left and right, and you're over here, he's trying to strut your stuff and everything. And he's like, can't she just see her dad and everything? He's like, fine, let her see her dad. So she goes in, she's like, Dad. He's like, oh, Daddy Bear's gone, little girl, and everything. And she's all like, that's not my dad. He's like, let's go. So then right before he leaves, he's like, hey, kid. He's like, when I get out of here, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill you and everything. And he's all like, what? See, I would have been like, bring it, shit nuts. And I was like, because when you get out of there, I'm gonna blast your ass again. So then these two are talking, and she's all like, listen, Lana's, scared. Maybe you should talk to her, kind of thing. Not as Clark, but as Superman. Maybe that'll help her out. So he's all like, what you're doing is really brave. And she's all like, my heart is racing a million miles a minute. He's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, oh yeah, because you have like super hearing and everything. And so he's like, and then he says something that makes me think that she's going to know he's Superman by the end of this show, which really kind of annoys me about the CW shows, that like everybody knows that the superhero's secret identity is. But I would be okay if Lana found out, but Lana's it. I don't want Sarah to find out. I don't want Eric to find out. Nobody else in this town can find out that Clark is Superman, because that's the thing I hate about the CW shows. It's like one person knows, then two people know, and then 55 people know. It's like crazy. So then she goes through the process, and she comes out, and she's Lara. And she's all like, my son. He's like, Mom, and everything. So she's all like, I created this technology, to preserve our people, not to take over, because we're a peaceful race. Most of us are peaceful. I didn't want to take over a planet like this. It was just to, preserve our culture / our people, kind of thing. He's like, so they're sitting there talking, and she's all like, how, I wished nothing but the best for you and everything. She's like, one of my fears was that you wouldn't have a mother. And he's like, I did have a mother. Her name was Martha, and she was great. And she's all like, that's all I wanted for you, kind of thing. And so this was a good scene. I kind of was taken out of it a little bit because it was Lana Lang doing the mom. Because I was like, I don't know. I can't really I can't really envision her as his mom. So it was kind of a little like this is the part that I was like, I would like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, because it's this actress, like, I'm just like, I just see Lana talking all weird to him and everything. So So then these two are sitting here talking, and he's like, go talk to her. She needs somebody and everything. Just be there for her kind of thing. By the way, I love this jacket that Jonathan has on. I tried looking for it. I found one kind of like it, but it was like $200. I'm like, what? It's like made of plastic. What are you talking about? Anyways, so then they're talking. She's like, that's not my dad. She's like, the last thing I said to him was that he was a drunk. And he's all like, I'm sorry. I'm here for you if you need me. And he's like, remember when you guys were playing when he's like, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you at the concert. And she's like, it was because of this, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, I feel like a jerk. I was mean to you kind of thing. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, I'm glad your dad was there. That's a memory that you should hold on to because it was a good one. You don't have to think of your last time you talked to your dad where you yelled at him and called him a drunk. You can think of that time that he played guitar for you at your recital, and a good memory. And I get that. You don't want your last words to somebody to be words of anger and everything, but sometimes it happens. Listen, it happens, but everybody know. But if let's just pretend her dad died in this episode, he didn't. Her dad would have known that she loved him. So then they show back up at headquarters and see that the machine is gone. He's like, get everybody now and everything. She's like, now? And he's like, yes. And she's like, fine, everything. So then they're sitting there talking, and she's hooking it up and everything. And she's all like, she's like, you have to bring every single person here one at a time when they have to go back through the process. And they're like, isn't there a faster way to do this? And she's like, yeah, but you don't have an energy source strong enough. And they're like, what kind of energy source would you need? And she's like, you would need something the equivalent of the power of this planet's sun. And they're like, okay, we'll figure something out. So then tor-ro it's tor-ro calls him Morgan Edge. He calls him and he goes and meets him. And before he goes, Lois was all like, talk to him like he talked to you, like as a brother. So he shows up and he's like, you've chosen them over us. And he's like, they're good people. This is a good planet. He's like, they are our inferior to us. And he's all like, that doesn't, he's like, I had a good life. And he's like, you had a good life. I didn't have a good life. I was met with, gunshots and everything. So these people are hunting him down and they capture him and they put him in prison, and he's in the darkness and he doesn't have, and he's all like, I'm sorry that happened to you. He's like, oh, I showed them fear and everything. And so then Lana's all like, so what kind? She's like, so I'm so happy that my son found love. What is, he like? And she's all like, he's this world's first superhero. He's not only a superhero, but he's a good man. He's a good father. He's, it's mostly, there's just a lot of love, yada, yada, yada. And she's like super happy about that as she like dwindles away on this computer, on this laptop. And she's all like, look at this inferior technology. You humans are so adorable. Anyway, so back at the diner, they're sitting there talking. I think this is where he says the line about the guitar playing. And then this kid right here, he hears the little symbol and he zooms off. So then all these small Villonians, they fly off. And that guy just flume, and they all fly off. And they're flying over to meet tor-ro. And he's all like, you don't have to do this. You can live here with these people in peace, And he's all like, what do you have to say to them? I don't remember exactly all was said. But anyway, so then all these people show up and Clark's all like, all right, I guess I got to go. So he zooms off. So he's running basically, but he's just trying to save time. And then look at those little glowy eyes. This is a very cool shot right here. And so she's all like, it's the technology, it's ready. And he's all like, Clark, he's like, it's ready, but we don't have that kind of power source. Sorry, you guys, my throat is really dry. I'm drinking coffee to lubricate my throat. It's so stupid. Anyways, all that does is dry out your throat. So, but I didn't bring a glass of water in with me. So then he's all like, it's okay. I'm going to use my, because when Clark can go what's called supernova in the comic books, where Supergirl did it in a couple of episodes, I believe, of Supergirl. She did it at least once. I can't remember if she did it more than once, but it's basically, and he's all like, I'm going to create a solar flare. And General Lane's like, if you do that, you're going to be out of commission for a couple of days, and I can't, afford that. And he's all like, listen, we have no choice. I have to do this. So he's running from these people, from these fake Kryptonians. And she goes in. Oh, they're trying to clear the area. And Lois is like, boys, get over here now. And he's like, where's Sarah? And Sarah goes in to meet her father. And then Clark flies up and he's like, come on, come on, come on, and everything. And they all shoot their little blasties at him. And I really liked this shot too, because like I like that it made like a little cone and everything. And he turns and he points that thing, and they all blast that thing, and he blasts it too. And he's all like, and everything. And it creates this, and Morgan Edge is all like, no, stop, and everything. And he falls back, and then they all blasties, and then this happens, and then they all. This is also a thing a problem I have. So all these people survive, by the way, all these Smallville people that blasted this, and look how far up they are. They're not just like 10 feet from the ground. They are up in the sky, and they all show up on the ground. I'm all like, no, as soon as you lost your powers, or as soon as you did that little blast, this little blast, you guys lost your powers. So how did you survive that? You would have went splat. Okay. Smallville people go splat and everything. So then everybody goes back to normal. And she's like, oh, my dad is back and everything. And these guys wake up on the ground and everything, which I'm like, that's not how it would happen, but it's fine. It's fine. And they're getting surrounded by soldiers, and they're like, please don't hurt me, kind of thing. I like that. So then she's like, Lana, are you okay? And she's like, I'm back and everything. So everybody's back to normal. And they're like, where's Morgan Edge? And they're like, we don't know. And he's like, search the globe. I'm like, look at you. Anyways, and then Superman, and then they're like, where's Superman? And then he flies back to the Fortress of Solitude. And he's all crawling through space. I think that this shows this little globe thing right here shows Candor. And everything. So he crawls back and he passes out right in front of the Fortress of Solitude. So then Leslie, I think is her character's name. She didn't go to the little showdown. So she's